Hey guys, it's Alexander Williamson here with The Secret History Living in Your Aquarium. Today we have an incredible book. It's Fishes of the Orinoco in the Wild by Ivan Mikolji. And he has spent the last 15, 20 years, really his whole life, fascinated by fish, in love with fish, and spending time in Venezuela on location, on the Orinoco River, on its tributaries, covering most of the country and even into Colombia, Guyana, and the northern reaches of the Amazon, and documenting it in this incredible book. We're going to flip through it and basically see a pretty good preview of it, but I'm going to bury the lead right now. I loved this book. It's up there with Heiko Blair's Volume 1 Discus that documents the Amazon. It's up there with the Peterson Guide manuals to different countries, native fish and plants, birds, things like that. Or Crystal Castleman's Aquarium Plants 2019-2020 edition. There aren't better books out there. There is not a better book for the Orinoco Delta than this, for biotope tanks than this. Hundreds of species featured, talks about their interactions, the nuances of them, where they're found, and just, you can feel how passionate Ivan is about what he does, about putting on that wetsuit and spending 12 hours, 15, 16 hours out in the wild looking for the perfect shot, the perfect fish, catching them spawning, catching them doing their thing, and documenting the jaguar on the banks of the river, the snakes in the water, the larvae that they're eating, what the water levels are doing, the pH, the water parameters, the tannins, the elements that are out there that make up this beautiful, beautiful and diverse nation and river basin watershed. So, Ivan and I hit it off right away when we talked over video chat. He's gonna be coming on the channel. I don't want you guys to have to watch this whole long review unless you want to and decide, do you really want to spend the money on a book? I get it. It can be a big investment for some people. And this book, I paid $175 for a signed copy, but my copy needed to go from the UK to Venezuela, I believe, and then to Miami, then to my house, and he had to sign a piece of paper basically, and the book, and then, ship it over here. And so I just wanted it signed. That's how important it was to me to have a signed first edition copy. But if you guys want a copy of this book, you can get 50 pages of the book downloadable for free on the landing page of the book for sale on the website, which will be in the description link below. And you can also get the best discount offer there is online exclusively here, which is 20% off. And so that takes the book from $125, because right now the book is already at an incredibly low price for a small batch run of a 400-page photo. I mean, the whole thing's photos basically, and some text. You'll see, obviously, but it's available for you at that price with shipping included. So if you want to do that, support Ivan, support me, and we both want to do work with conservation. We'll talk about that a little later, but Ivan is very big on the thought that if you don't know that something exists, if you don't know how it truly exists, that it's not pristine, tropical, like the Barrier Reef or something, where all your pretty colorful fish are. In fact, it's in muddy puddles that are sometimes in areas you would never expect, and they're full of mulm and leaves and who knows what. When we realize that those are the places that need protecting the most, that those are the keystones of so many ecosystems, it really brings home the connection between the different species and the different plants, animals, and, substrates, geography, geology, weather. It's all in the book, and it's just fascinating. And so get that 20% off if you want this book. There aren't many left. There aren't many copies left. So it's a special deal just for you guys, because I said I wanted to review the book, and then I saw the book and I said, this is incredible. I mean, is there any offer we can work out for my subscribers? And that's what he said. You know, he came up with that. He's also an incredible artist, so check out his artwork and other books, his lectures, things like that. And also, I just, you know, so often we have aquariums like this, and I think, oh yeah, I've got a tank that's full of, other than the gouramis, mostly Venezuelan and Brazilian fish, right? Well, I mean, in his book, I realized, you know, why certain fish school with other fish. It's the fact that, you know, fruit is dropping, or maybe flies and bugs and gnats are at the top of the water a certain time of day, and while they do that, another fish is getting the other areas of food and things that made it lower, like the corridoras, or the algae being cleaned off of these, you know, the water lettuce, which lives in the Amazon and in the Orinoco Delta and watersheds. And you're getting that clean so that eggs can be laid on it. It's just how everything is interconnected. I mean, you can have more success in your aquariums, less work, a more complete ecosystem, especially when you know the substrates, what they consist of, the pH, the TDS, all that kind of stuff. And especially if you're dealing with wild caught fish. I mean, we should be trying to get tank bred fish that are nice and healthy, and supporting farmers and things like that in local breeders. But obviously, if you have wild fish that are native to somewhere in the world and were caught wild, you have a responsibility to inform yourself about that creature and to try to pass that creature's genetics on and preserve that creature for future generations. And that is what Ivan and I both believe in. And so, I mean, that's the lead. I buried it. Go to the description if you want the book. If this is all the info you needed, then grab it. But if you want to check out the book, as well as some incredible photography that he has okayed us to look at up close and in high resolution, then please stay tuned, check that out, and we'll hop in right now. Thanks, guys. All right, everybody, let's jump right in on this incredible book, Fishes of the Orinoco in the Wild by Ivan Mikolji. Probably put a little too much flair on that name, but beautifully made book. I've made several of my own books, published them independently, and so I know how much work goes into just little things like picking where the crease in the binding goes, how it's bound, if it's glue, if there's thread, the type of paper, how thick the paper is, the glossiness. All these things go into making a book, and it's just so many hours of work and commitment. So Ivan sent me this drawing, which is a sketch similar to that of the ones he does frequently for art gallery showings and things like that, where he takes textures and images and movement feelings that he is getting from fish and natural scenes out there, and basically in this abstract, almost Picasso-esque way, he creates beautiful paintings and illustrations in this style that you should definitely check out. He's shown them around the world and in galleries, both for artistic reasons, but also to raise money for charity and conservation. So this book is just laid out immaculately. I hope that the metallic fingernails draw some attention to what I'm pointing at, and I hope you guys will pardon the all the little tabs I've put in here as a way to keep track of what I wanted to share with you guys. But this is really just a phenomenal book. And if you followed his work, he's got work all over on the internet, published on YouTube, his own website. Other people have featured his work, and essentially he has lived in Venezuela or traveled to Venezuela for over 15 years now, going back and forth and documenting nature and fish and biotopes as they are, not prettying them up necessarily for, National Geographic or the perfect shot that's totally clear, but rather showing a reality of what the biotopes are in the water and where it is. So this book, I mean, just the photography alone, this book is massive. It's well made. It would make a good coffee table book for anybody, even if you don't know anything about fish. It's just a beautiful nature and visually stunning book. And you can tell, obviously, I'm burying the lead here. I love this book. And beyond the words and the stories described here, when you go and watch his various documentaries and films and movies online, you'll see that he uses indigenous people's music and language from the tribes in the area as a background setting to a lot of what he's doing. And just, I mean, the way he incorporates a little bit of magic and energy and culture and history and science, all of it, into what he does in such an understated way is just it's really the sign of an artist and of somebody who's perfected their craft. But here he goes through and kind of tells you about each of the main ecosystems. They're very different throughout the Orinoco Delta and Venezuela. Some are lush tropical rainforests that are super dense with super tall trees. Others are this black water or brown water that's tea colored. And then I love this shot here. I wanted to set that one aside, but basically that's him for scale. And this is just the beautiful Western Guiana shield. And this is kind of what separates a massive region and a drier region of the area known as the Lost Worlds in the Guiana highlands, where there's these rivers and these plains, and it looks like where the rainforests go, but in the water there's everything from caiman and leopards lurking on land and snakes and frogs. I mean, it's just bizarre. There's these little oases in that, where life just basically appears and is in extreme density because as the wet season comes and goes, which is there's just a wet and a dry season, and it's always pretty hot there. But as that happens, when the water falls, the fish frequently will get together and they will spawn and have their babies. There's great photos of that going on, of the behavior. And then on the side, so as we're looking through here, he's got it split up by types of fish. And for instance, this great shot of a pike Kerrison is just great. I mean, it's really cool to see a picture of some of the fish that we don't see in the hobby necessary all the time, but he's got it broken down here where if you take a look, it shows you the Latin taxonomy laid out for you and in a hierarchy. Then it also tells you, so we'll just do a quick example, we'll do one, but this is such a cool fish to see in the wild as they school in wide open barren areas of rivers. They drift slowly around 1 meter below the water's surface, patrolling large areas underwater of their habitat. When something edible falls in the water, small tetras swim and group in to eat. At that moment, pike Kerrisons attack them at lightning speed while they are distracted with the food and strike. All you see is a cloud of shimmering stars and shining, which are lots of sparkling tetrascales sinking to the bottom of the river. So, I mean, he paints these cool pictures too, and it tells you something about like the fact that the tetras are feeding from the top with food dropping in, and the other fish are striking from below them. It explains why the bellies of tetras often are clear and the top is decorated, or why there's false eye spots on tetras. I mean, there's just so many cool things. It says they're usually quite curious and will approach you, look at you for a couple of seconds, then swim away to do their thing. And then it has the equipment and when and where, including the exact GPS, so you can go online or you can look in the book or whatnot for exactly where the shot was taken. It's got the pH of where he was diving or snorkeling that day, the stretch of river or lake or pond or whatever it may be. It's also got the etymology or where they got the name of it. So I'm not going to pronounce this, but ancient Greek for darning needle, probably referring to their sharp needle-like teeth. Then micro, small, and lepus, meaning scale, referring to their small scales on their body, which have 108 to 122 along their lateral line. Distribution: South America, Amazon, and Orinoco River basins, and the rivers of Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, up to 25 centimeters. So to us Americans, that's almost a foot. pH 4.5 to 6.5, temperature 26 to 29, so that's on the warmer end of things. It's like 72 to, I guess, what, 84 degrees or something. And then Sympatry, which is a similar fish, I guess. Fish, it's got the Latin names of a few fish, and also it lists plants, which is major. Major. And in the pictures, you see it. So then the other thing you can do is then you find out, okay, so cool, this fish happens to live, we heard it lives with tetras, but then we can see, oh, it lives with these fish too. So then we can take a look at the pictures and see, holy cow, look at all the mulm and all the wood debris and all the, the grasses, the algae, and just the beautiful time and energy it went into to capture these shots is just incredibly phenomenal. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of these shots for you guys. Just really cool fish are in this book, and if you have a Biotope tank, I mean, you're not going to find a better source of inspiration, information, and what you need to really create an award-winning biotope. This is just, I mean, it's with an underwater flower. I mean, it's just so beautiful, and it can elevate such a simple fish by some standards and just raise that thing into something just spectacular. And here is Ivan with school. There's less than that. There's like 400 left. This will be a collector's edition. The Heiko Blair version of this book that's about discus in the Amazon, that book now is going for upwards of $400, $500, up into the thousands of dollars for pristine copies. So this will also be a collector's piece as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this book, or at least the 50 pages, which you go to the book's landing page site. You don't have to buy the book or anything, but you enter your name, sign up for their newsletter, which they're not going to sell your email info, but they will send updates on charity, on conservation work, and on new work that Ivan has done. And you guys will get the downloadable high-res 50-page version of this book ahead of time while you wait for it to arrive. This is the book to allow you to win something like an ADA Aquascape Biotope contest, or Heiko Blair's, or the Russian contest, or the Chinese contest. There is a growing field, and also just letting your fish live a happy natural existence. So much info is in this book about that. So thanks for your time. That's the book review, and have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching The Secret History, Living in Your Aquarium. I'd love it if you'd hit that like button if you enjoyed this, if I earned it this time for you on the way out. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe if you want further updates from me. If not, then no worries. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.